It is time that I told this story. A story about a certain someone, a person who has experienced a lot during the past couple months. This is the story of Caramel, a little candy contestant. But first, let's start all the way back to the first part of the season. Chapter 1, Signature Performance. One day, at a faraway place, there lived these twins, always near each other's space. One day, the brother saw a flyer. What was on that flyer gave him the joy that was much higher. He turned to his sister, with a smile and said,
"Sis, you won't believe the joy that I read."
She looked at the flyer, then stared at him. The smile on his face could take away any bit of grim. She smiled back, happy for her brother. They smiled so bright, you would think it was summer. They went to the sign-ups, all joyful and thrilled, ready to sign their names on the paper that looked a little weird. The brother signed first, Caramel being his name. Then he gave the pen to his sister, expecting her to do the same. She hesitated, and sighed as she said,
"I can't go with you, you go ahead."
Caramel was in shock, not understanding why. Then his sister, Butterscotch, let out another sigh. She explained to him the things she had to do. Caramel understood, but still had a sad hue. Butterscotch hugged him, while smiling and said,
"No matter what, I'll be with you to the end. Even if I had to travel the world, I'll help you through the bend."
That touched Caramel's heart, as he wept with joy. They hugged once more, with Caramel feeling like Savoy. Even though Butterscotch couldn't sign up, she stayed close to Caramel, that little pup. There was a big white smile on that little Caramel. Butterscotch knew that this contest would make him swell. With these two siblings, family and friend, this has been Chapter 1's end. Now before I go on to the final chapter, I'll let Caramel talk more about his experience and opinions about the camp.
I honestly like this camp. The challenges are fun and the hosts are pretty cool. I am really glad that I have made it to the alumni, but based on the eliminations, I am a target. I'm having fun though. I will do my best to make it to the finale. I wish the best of luck to you guys, but I am not backing down. See you guys in the next challenge, hopefully.
Chapter 2, The Contests. Caramel had fun through the challenges he faced. On the first challenges where he finds his pace, he must break a world record. Sounds hard, right? Caramel was ready for the fight. He chose to hold the most tennis balls in one hand, hoping that it would impress the hosts with grand. After hurting himself with the tennis machine, he beat the world record, by 2 balls I mean. He placed second, surprised as ever. This pleased him. Using this as a measure, Challenge 2 was even harder, having to make an intro that could inspire. His creativity placed him first, with so much joy he could burst. The next 2 challenges he placed third. Not too bad, but he preferred to be ahead of the herd. Challenge 5 was a nightmare, since he had to survive on an island on the middle of nowhere. He had a friend, Blue Tree was the name. They survived, but Caramel was mad all the same. He wasn't mad at his friend, he was mad about the challenge that he attended. He placed first, but he was still mad. Butterscotch even had trouble making him glad. Challenge 6 was a downfall. Caramel placed fourth, and elimination was down the hall. He was safe with 2 votes, but he realized that he was a target for the worst. Challenge 7 was a comeback, placing first and going back on track. The only problem with the challenge was that he and his sister were merged by force. This wasn't what they expected on their course. Challenge 8 was a cooking challenge. They had to cook on a show, and showed great balance. They placed second, which was pretty good, but now they still need to know how to become split and stood. With this problem still at hand, this is the end of Chapter 2's trend. That is the end of the story of Caramel in BFSW. I hope you enjoyed the story I gave you. I know you have one question left. Who is the one that tells the story in effect? Well, if you want to know who I am, then you shall know before I go and scram. I am Darkheart, and I have been telling this story from the start. Now that you know who I am and the whole story, I must end the show in glory. See you next time, where I probably won't make so many rhymes.